Good afternoon. Today, 2nd June, I'm recording at 12:15, and yes, today we're going to talk on something on what is software engineering all about, and we'll know what is the current trend and which are the companies, what exactly they are doing on it. To start with, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Madhu BK, basically from Mysore, and I've done my engineering, MTech, PhD in computer science. I have worked in both industry and academics. I worked as a software tester in Infosys for a longer duration, and academics as a faculty professor in colleges like MS Ramaiah Institute of Technology to the many other institutes. Being in industry, I was exposed to how testing is done, what is a procedure all about, how industry works, what is mailing about, what is productivity. Being in academics, how to talk to students, how exactly students will understand, what is their mindset, and what are the techniques and how to teach it. Both, and that is what my exposure in my past 20 years. More than this, I am a guest faculty for Birla Institute of Technology from past 10 years, and also consultant for SAP. So this is a short about me. Apart from that, I have produced 3 PhD students under my belt. Third student has recently finished his Viva, of course, in the field of ICT technologies. My favorite topics are software engineering, software testing altogether, and ICT technologies. Many times I have handled multimedia technologies, and anything which is communication, I am good at it, and I am basically fine for it. Today, let us see what is software engineering, why exactly it is needed, who wants to use it. I'll write it down for you, because software engineering, I hope software engineering, I'm just writing it in the lower part of the board so that it is visible. Software engineering is all the methods, techniques, techniques and procedures written to develop a software. For a software development, I am just shortening it and writing software development. So if you have any number of rules, those are listed out here. If it is not listed, then it will be new rules. You can write it any day, anytime. So the whatever it is there, those are like started. Okay, it is a new subject? No, it is a comparatively older subject when you come to computer science into matter. This is coined in 1970. Of course, 1970 it has been coined, this subject called software engineering, but this is included in every syllabus from past 20 years. Almost every engineering student, MCA, BCA student from past 20 years around, throughout the average universities everywhere in the world, from 20 years they are learning this. Is it enough? Is it old now? No, this is not an old subject as such also, because this is a subject where you are teaching the techniques, and techniques every time comes with a newer techniques. So when we started as a student, there was a technique called waterfall model. People used to follow it. Now there is something called as agile model. Now agile has gone back. There is a DevOps has come with the base of that. There are many technologies which comes. Now what happens in a software development procedure, a newer trend which started from Microsoft, followed by SAP and Google and many other best companies, is when I am developing a software, am I taking a security into concern or not? Means my software or my product, whatever I am developing, can hacker attack it or malign it, or my software is very safe. So if it is not safe, how do my customer trust my software? No. So including Microsoft, actually Microsoft has started this first, telling like, if I can ready to change my whole software development strategy to include security features in it. So the subject called software engineering, turned into a security engineering, and best possibly secure software engineering. Secure software engineering, that is called SSE. This is a new subject which only tells you have life cycle model, you have whatever procedure you want, but include security into every stage of it. So what is the result of it? If security is installed everywhere or you practiced everywhere, that end product is of a product where no hacker can hack it, and even if it is hacked, the software will tell you that there is some problem here or someone is approaching here and you have to take care of it. So which gives a customer a reliable software, a good customer interaction altogether, and good environment where I can trust, I can rely on that software. This is what exactly this particular software subject all about. To just go further, I'll clear this board. I clear this board. To go further, I'll write the software engineering procedure. There is something called a requirement analysis. There is something as a design. I'm just giving it an I'm not writing in a very detailed manner. Coding, I'm just going through a flow, and testing. I'm just going through a flow. Just listen to this. Just concentrate on this. These are the 4 stages generally. But what is secure? This is software engineering. This is software engineering. I have written SE. This is software engineering. But what is secure software engineering? Secure software engineering, requirement analysis plus security as a main domain, means you have to list out all the requirement analysis plus what are the security requirements. Security requirements. This is me, assuming that you have a 10 or 20 requirement analysis, then you will have 5 of security requirement, which makes it 15 requirements for me, where I have taken care of all security features. Wherever if I implement this requirement here, then the product has high secure, means it is a trustable software. That is what this. Again, if you are designing this, then design in a manner where that particular idea or particular algorithm, whatever you write, cannot be hacked or cannot be altered, or it is done in a stage where if it has a self-healing capacity or self-informing capacity, or it will restart by itself, or any method of you do it. So that design, do a design with security feature in it. With a security feature in it. I have written S here, a security feature in it. That is second thing. I will exactly tell you more on this. What happens here in this, when the requirement analysis is freezed, you here, after studying, being an experienced person, there is something called as, we will call it as touch points. Touch points are those points in a design which can be attacked easily, which can be attacked by the hackers or professional hackers or you call amateur hackers. So those are touch points where software is a bit weak. Considering if you are going for a client and server based, when it is passes through a network, whether the socket level implementation, socket level security is given or not. So that is what touch points. So you have to identify touch points. Why doing a design means, in my design, these are my weaknesses. These are, assume you are some 500 years back or 1000 years back, you are a king and you are constructing a fort, and you are in a fortress. Which are the weakness points where people can attack me? So you have to strengthen those walls first, where attacking possibilities are more. My design in this, for a software, this stage will tell, see, this is your design. In this particular module is weak. You have to put 2 or 3 another security features for implementing this. That is what's shown here. Then comes coding. Coding has few techniques. Few already have secure software algorithms are there which is implemented. There are secure software tools are there which can be coded, which automatically cross check whether implementations are there or not. There are sufficient number of books, sufficient number of materials available on which are the tools, how to use it, and what are the uses of it, and how you can implement security features on it. Those are the things which can be done. After all, then comes something called as testing. What you do? Testing. Here I have taken an example called penetration testing. penetration testing. This is one of the testing which is preliminary or which is mainly for the secure software engineering. What is the penetration testing? Penetration testing, of course, to be lighter note, it is done after regular testing is done. Means your regular normal testing is everything is passed, and you are going for an everything, means your black box, white box testing is done, structural testing is done, normal interface testing is done. You are bound almost going for an UAT, user interface testing, that is in acceptance testing. You are going for a final stage. Before that, there is something called as penetration testing, where you listen very carefully. Here, it's a technique where you introduce an error to the software intentionally and see how far it proceeds and see how far it make a damage. Means you introduce a error to it. Assume that you are taking a banking software and there is a module called as interest calculation, where my year interest is getting calculated. I have kept 1 lakh in my FD, and that 1 lakh FD, how much interest it has to give? Maybe 8% or 9%. 8% is probably 7 or 8% is the normal charges now. 7%, assume 7%. Whether that 7% is interest is calculated or not, whatever the amount is correct or not. Intentionally give a failure there. It may calculate as 30,000, which is a wrong calculation. Interest should not come so much. It's a loss to the bank. So how do you cross check? So introduce intentionally, make a mistake for a that particular interest calculation. Then how your software tells you that there is a mistake here. Is it any cross check? Or if it is a mistake is done, how far it can damage the whole module, or how far it can destroy the whole software altogether. That will be tested through penetration testing. Means intentionally, I will come again, intentionally you are introducing an error and see that how far it goes and what are the damages it makes. And then come back here to the design and tighten those things, and come again and do a penetration testing and see how far it goes. There are situations where if you, I'll tell every time, when examples like you have Shadi.com, you have communitymatrimonial.com, so many things are there. When it started almost some 20 years back, when it came to Limelight directly, though you can see the photos of probably bride or bridegroom, anything, you could have downloaded directly. You could have downloaded, and there are many sites where you could get a regular phone numbers of them and you can call directly. There is no need of the website only. It was like that. Later they learned that if people can download, people can talk to them, then what is the need for us? Later, after 2 to 3 years, they started introducing one by one security measure. Like now you have to enter your all details, show who are yourself, and then enter the website if you want. And even if you want to download, it is not possible because you are entirely in their security boundary. That is how what is called implementation of security, which is done. So that is about penetration testing, which forms just I've told you here what is software engineering generally does and what is secure software engineering generally do. Again, to revive, to tell you again, to come back again, in secure software engineering, you write requirement analysis with the security into feature. See that all those things are implemented here. See that all those things are implemented here. I'll use one more color here. See that all those things are implemented here. Then do a design so that all the touch points are addressed. See that it is safe. As I told, your shield wall or whatever it is there, whether enemy is attacking in that particular wall, whether it is strong or not, know that whether it is strong or not, and design similarly. Have some tool which is already there or build your own style. In the coding also check whether the security implementation is been done, it is working fine, everything is done. Then you have many testing techniques like penetration testing. I have explained one penetration testing, which is this. So you can take that, okay, and you can happen to see that this is what. So with this approach, you will get a software which is reliable, which can trustable. And I think my time has come up with this 15 minutes. Okay, so today we could learn what is software engineering, what is the newer version of it, that is secure software engineering, what was the life cycle all about in an older version, and what is the life cycle about in a newer version, which is called as secure software engineering. So my friends, next, in future, every software companies or product based companies which develops like software, which it will use this life cycle rather than this. Knowing this is an advantageous, very advantageous, and practicing this will make you an person with updated knowledge. Thank you. Thank you.